I say to the whole world, India will identify, track and punish every terrorist and their backers. Terrorism will not go unpunished.
Welcome to this special Republic Defense production. Republic Defense is a dedicated service where in this period of potential conflict, we will be looking at all the issues related to the Indian Army with some level of depth that has not been seen before in the Indian media. We believe that we have a certain role in bringing accurate news to people across the world, in India and across the world. And today, what we are going to do is we are going to do a scenario generation exercise with the one and only General G.D. Bakshi. He needs no introduction, but General Bakshi, it's a pleasure to have you. It's wonderful to have you. And for people who've seen him here as, as our expert on strategic affairs, it would be good to remind everyone that he's also been General Officer Commanding of the Romeo Force. He's had 18 battalions under him. He's cleaned up the whole Rajouri-Poonch sector when he was in charge there. He's a dangerous man. He's got a big genial smile. And the Pakistanis know that behind that very avuncular approach is a very, very dangerous thinker when it comes to military affairs. India's #1 wargamer. Thank you very much. And in this scenario generation exercise, I'm also going to be joined by General Rajan, Kochhar, who says he's proud to be here as the logistician to General Bakshi. We are doing a wargaming scenario here. What will happen? Yes. And you have been former MG, that is Major General of the Army Ordnance Corps in the Central Command. Absolutely. So you know exactly when it comes to armory, ammunition, yes, what we have, our strengths, weaknesses, absolutely, and there were strengths, weaknesses as well. Yes. So what we are doing is a very realistic scenario. Is that all right, sir? Absolutely. Shall we start? Yeah, so this is a very clear show. I'll cut the chase. Abhi situation kya hai? What's the situation right now? General Bakshi, we are waiting. I believe that we will have a conflict. We will take them on, we'll teach them a lesson. The question is how. So how do you see the situation placed right now, India versus Pakistan in military terms?
So let's see the lineup of forces, Arnab. Let's see what the field is like. Yeah. It all started with the, General Asim Munir, whom we would like to call Mullah Munir.
Mullah Munir.
Right? He is due to retire in October this year. Correct. And he commenced his exercise for seeking an extension of 5 years from the Pakistan government by trying to create almost an Indo-Pakistan war scenario. This man, about 10 days back, gave a lunatic speech on a clash of the Hindu and the Muslim civilization in South Asia. Arnab, this man spoke of Pakistan as Riyasat-e Madina 2.0. He tried to, pontificate himself as the Khalifa of, rabid jihadi Islam in South Asia.
Right.
Right? Arnab, this man, after that speech, that dog whistle, we found that his terrorist minions staged a communal massacre in Pahalgam. 26 killed. The actual figure, I think if we add the foreigners, is almost about 30. We are reaching a figure of 30 killed, you see, and about 17 wounded.
Right.
This created outrage in India. This man had never reckoned that he could bite off more than he could chew, right? His staff is very smart. When it gets very hot in summer, they arrange for their boss a trip to Kazakhstan, cooler climes of Kazakhstan, right? He had gone there on an official visit. He had to come running back. When he came running back, Arnab, he had a meeting with his Navy and Air Chief. And the Air Chief was in panic. He told him, what a time for you to choose this adventure. The simple fact is, half my F-16s are unserviceable. They are being upgraded with the package that the Americans have given, $400 million, by the way, right? And he said, my other frontline fighters, the JF-17 Thunder, right, Arnab, half their radars are not functional. He is in panic mode. And you know what he has done now? In and evidence of his panic is visible all over. He's moved all his crown jewels back. The F-16s, Arnab, have been moved to the depth airfields like Pasni near Gwadar, so that they can be out of the range of the lethal S-400 Triumph missiles.
I'll pause you there. So, viewers, as this story unfolds, what you're getting a sense is, many of you should watch this, because by watching this, you will understand what the background is. So, the story goes like this. Asim Munir is going to retire. He doesn't have a job. And therefore, he says, I've got to start a conflict. And he makes this Hindu-Muslim speech, a clash of civilization speech.
Well, our forefathers, they thought that we are different from the Hindus in every possible aspect of life. Our religion is different. Our customs are different. Our traditions are different. Our thoughts are different. Our ambitions are different. That was the foundation of the two-nation theory that was laid there. That we are two nations. We are not one nation. So because of that, our forefathers, they struggled, mounted that incessant struggle to create this country. Our forefathers, they have sacrificed immensely, and we have sacrificed a lot for the creation of this country.
He wants to be the Khalifa of an Islamic
Caliphate in South Asia.
Caliphate in South Asia. He has these pretensions. Then to polarize things further, he organizes the Pahalgam attack, right? And after that, he knows that India will push. This is what he wants. The Prime Minister in this situation meets Raksha Mantri, NSA, CDS, the picture is there with you, and you know he met. And then on 29th April, Prime Minister gives a free hand. He says, do what you want. Do what you want. You have full freedom. But now, I want you to take off on this. According to General Bakshi, Munir then panics, comes back from Kazakhstan and goes to the air chief, goes to the navy chief and says, are we ready? And the air chief and the navy chief tell him we are not. Now, in terms of armament, why are they saying to Asim Munir, we are not ready for the consequences of your actions? Can you explain this in armament terms?
Yes. First, I will actually explain to you the Pakistan Army, the profile of their equipment. Profiling of their equipment is 45% of their equipment is of Chinese origin. 20% of their equipment is of the US origin. And a large proportion of their almost 35 to 40% of their air defense equipment is from France. Of late, last 4 to 5 years, Turkey has been a major supply point as far as their missile program, the stealth fighter program, and the drones are concerned. Now, Pakistan, you are aware, has hardly any indigenous capability, or we call it the surge capacity. When you go for war, because you've asked me a specific question on Pakistan's war preparedness. To fight a war, you need a surge capacity. And surge capacity can only come if you are manufacturing equipment and ammunition in your country. And unfortunately, Pakistan has hardly any surge capacity. So my assessment is, considering their holding of war wastage reserves, considering the vintage equipment, okay, I would actually like to highlight here is 55% of the Pakistan Army equipment is vintage equipment.
Okay, so I'll pause you there because I'll let him get into the flow. We'll get into this.
Okay.
So the Navy Chief and the Air Chief of Pakistan have told Asim Munir that we are in panic. Our F-16s, half of them are not worthy of flying. Our radars on our JF-17, these are Chinese Thunderjets, are not working. They are unserviceable. And so he's obviously terrified. But there must be something else that is terrifying him about our own missile capability. Can you tell us about that?
You know, Arnab, we may not have the Iron Dome because, we are a big country. Israel is just 28,000 square kilometers, so they can cover every inch of their area with their Iron Dome. But we have a formidable air defense capability. We have the Russian S-400 Triumph surface-to-air missiles, which have proven to be F-16 killers in Ukraine, right? You know, Arnab, this missile can look 600 kilometers with its search radar, target acquisition radar, halfway into Afghanistan. It can fire 400 kilometers. That means almost every Pakistani airfield, air base, as soon as the fighters take off, our AWACS will pick them
That
up.
means the
And
army, the air chief of Pakistan must be in panic by now.
is an extremely worried man.
Because if we use our S-400 systems and we got the Rafales, and then the Rafales must be having very, very amazing missiles on them. I'm told they have some.
Absolutely.
What are these missiles the Rafales have?
You know, it would help, Arnab, to understand it like this for the layman. 2019, we had no S-400s.
No.
2019, we had no Rafales.
No.
2019, we had no beyond visual range air-to-air missiles. Today, we have the Rafale, which, as you very rightly pointed out, has the Meteor beyond visual range missile with a range of 180 kilometers, right? That means it can see you off from 180 kilometers and plink you off. No need for a dogfight. You won't get to the dogfight stage because you will be plinked off from that distance of 180 kilometers, right? We have the Astra 1 and the Astra 2, which will be also, apart from the Rafales, on our Su-30Is. Formidable jet fighter. Formidable jet fighter. So we have beyond visual range capabilities. We have the Triumph missiles. We have the Jaguars. You know, Arnab, this is a formidable combination to give nightmares to Pakistan.
Well, I've been hearing that the Pakistanis are so afraid right now that they have taken the F-16 planes and they put them very far back.
So that they're out
Almost
of range.
on the other side, as far away from India as possible.
Pasni, Gwadar.
Why are they pushing them back? Because if they are getting ready for a war with India,
Right.
they should be pushing them ahead.
You see?
Why are they pushing them back?
Absolutely. Arnab.
And then he's
That-
put these junk planes of the Chinese in front.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't understand this logic. You're putting the junk Chinese jets in front, the JF-70s.
And your crown jewels?
And your so-called crown jewels you're putting at the back. What does this reveal about the Pakistani mind?
You see, Arnab, in 2019, they were flaunting their F-16s, you recall?
Yeah.
That is what they had sent in when,
Yeah.
apna, wing commander was
Abhinandan.
brought down. Abhinandan was brought down. The simple fact is, today they are trying to save their crown jewels. Because if they keep them anywhere within the 400-kilometer range from the border, our S-400s will pick them up the moment they take off from their airfields. Pakistan knows that and it is sweating. It is sweating. That is why, to save them, it has put them behind there.
We must take into account the BrahMos missiles also. Because Sukhoi 30 aircrafts have been upgraded now and they have the capability to carry these missiles with them. And the range of this missiles air version is approximately 350 kilometers. So if you take this capability also into account, because it's a very, very strong capability, what General Bakshi was actually mentioning for the S-400, here is an offensive capability with you, fitted in the ships also. We have a BrahMos regiment also in the Indian Army, and we have the Air Force. So it's a triad.
So this is very effective. I'm told they've got a Chinese plane called the Thunderjet.
Yeah, that's right.
But this Thunderjet also has its own problems because they are pretty useless. Technically they are beyond visual range, but actually they are useless. Can you, very layman terms, explain why they are useless?
I'll just elucidate the...
Because what we are getting to hear from our intel sources is that the Pakistani air chief is in great trouble.
He is
He's
genuinely
in huge
in
trouble.
He is genuinely in trouble. I'll just elucidate the very valid point that you brought out, Arnab. The simple thing is, they have about 160 odd JF-17 Thunderjet fighters, right? Their radars are a problem. They have AESA radars, but they have a problem. Most of them are not functioning well, Number two, they have a range limitations of 110 to 100 to 110 kilometers. That is their range limitation of the radar. Now, the Chinese have offered to them the PL-15E export version. E stands for export version of their PL-15 air-to-air missile, which actually with the Chinese has a range of 200 to 300 kilometers. But the export version given to Pakistan has a range of 145 kilometers.
So that's also a junk missile then?
Look, if you can't see beyond 100, maximum 110,
Yes,
what use is that 145
This is
kilometer
the
range?
point that the Pakistanis must understand. The reality of Pakistan must be told to the Pakistanis. You see, you have a very, very small, the Pakistani army is something else, but the Pakistani, we have got a 1:3 proportion with them. We're a huge army, they're a small army. The Pakistani Air Force seems to be ill-prepared, but the person who's even more worried by now, and our intel sources tell us this is the Pakistani Navy, because the problem with the Pakistani Navy is that they are not getting money from the Pakistan government to fix their submarines. And I've heard that 80% of their submarines are unserviceable.
Yeah.
And they are in repair, they are in refit at the Karachi dockyard,
Right.
और उसको ठीक करने के लिए पैसे नहीं हैं. So can you tell us about the situation with the Pakistan Navy?
I'll elucidate the very valid point that you have highlighted, Arnab. The simple fact is, Pakistan has 8 submarines as of today. 5 Augusta class and 3 midget, smaller submarines. Out of these 8, only 2 Augusta class submarines are today serviceable.
And the
Augusta
midgets are
70
not
and Augusta 90, nor the midgets, nor the other Augustas.
How can they go into a war with India? They have no submarines.
And-
they have no effective navy.
And to add to their woes, the aircraft carrier battle group of the Virat is now in the Indian Ocean with its complement of MiG-29 jet fighters, its complement of missile destroyers and missile frigates, heading towards Karachi, right? And what do they have to counter this with? Not a single service ship can stand up to this armada. Submarines.
The other thing is that Pakistan does not have enough ordnance, does not have enough ammunition.
Yeah.
And I want to talk a little bit about this. Viewers, my information is that they had some artillery shells, 155 millimeter. They've had to give it to Ukraine under American pressure. So they don't have it.
They don't have it.
And we are also told that war wastage rate is 1 week. What does this mean? Simple terms. Because now we are setting it out.
Yeah.
What does this mean by saying the war wastage rate is 7 days?
See, it means that presently Pakistan Army, Air Force and Navy, if you actually combine all three as armed forces, has a capacity to wage a war not more than 7 days. Because
Not
what happens,
more than 7. They can't withstand Indian pressure more than 7
because
days.
these wastage rates are based on past experience.
Right.
How much of ammunition is expended for one second line ammunition, as we call it, the first line, the second line. Ammunition is held in scales.
Correct.
The first line and the second line scales. So when we carry out the wastage of this ammunition, we, as per our holdings, we can work out that how many days of ammunition is available with us
Are
to
you
fight the
saying
war.
in 1 week they are finished?
No. Yes.
1 week they fight us and we go all out with them.
And they
In
don't
one
have such
week-
capacity.
In 1 week
Yeah.
they will be out of ammunition.
Absolutely.
Then what will they do?
Because if at that rate of fire, intense rate of fire, if they actually fire this ammunition, because in a war it is going to be intense rate of fire. So there.
This is see what we are establishing, viewers. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
You are getting today a real sense of the comparative strengths between India and Pakistan. Believe me, I am a nationalist, and I think being a nationalist means you don't undermine the enemy. Pakistan is an enemy state. They are our enemy. But we are realistic people. We want to beat them. We'll tell you the reality. And the reality also is, and General Bakshi must talk about this, they don't even have enough fuel.
They don't.
Yeah.
Their aviation turbine
5
fuel.
days. Aviation
5 days.
turbine fuel. 5 days.
Absolutely.
5
is their
days.
capacity. Yeah.
And if
then
the-
they have to depend on resupply from abroad. They don't have any.
But who will? But if they,
intrinsic-
through which route will they get resupply?
come via the Arabian Sea, and if the Indian Navy puts a limited or a total blockade, then
Then they can't get fuel.
Yeah.
So what are they talking about fighting us?
That is why the panic in Pakistan, Arnab. That is why the Prime Minister is in hospital.
That is why Bilawal Bhutto is going in, telling United States that we don't want to fight this war.
The fact is they, from what is emerging out here, now we are going to go deep into the wargaming, viewers. This is the exciting part. What we've established in the first few minutes is that Pakistan realistically cannot fight a war with India because, A, and I'm being very reasonable about it, I hope people in Pakistan listen to this. The fact is your radars are not working. Your F-16 fleet is 55% unserviceable. You cannot withstand the S-400 Triumph series surface-to-air missile defense systems here in India. Your F-16s have been put into hiding. Your JF-17 Thunder jets, out of the 45 JF-17s are in Block 3, which can fire the PL-15E beyond visual range missiles. There also you have a problem because the AESA radar and the Chinese Thunder jets have a range of 100 kilometers. Your Navy doesn't work. Your submarines are not working. They are in Karachi dockyard for servicing. You don't have fuel beyond 7 days. You don't have ammunition beyond 1 week.
Yes.
It's disaster. Now, what happens? Let's go into wargaming now. What if do we go for intense hammering? You think it can work?
Look, Arnab, that is why
Let's go with the scenarios.
We are doing a reality check for Pakistan.
Yeah, we are doing a reality check.
A reality check.
They must be real.
We are being very objective. We are not trying to exaggerate capabilities.
No,
we are just telling you that this is the reality check. Think about it. Think about it, put it in a pipe and smoke it. Number one. Number two, Arnab, we have a whole range of options for Pakistan. We have a whole range of options for Pakistan. Quite obviously, the service chiefs have been told, you are free to choose your targets, you are free to choose the methods. Of attack and timings of attack. They are very competent, our service chiefs are very competent. But, just some generic scenarios which are going around in the media, right? Yeah. Some generic scenarios which are going out in the media. We have the BrahMos cruise missiles, as he very rightly pointed out. We have the Agni 1s, we have the Prithvis, we have the multi-barrel Pinaka rocket launchers, we have the Smarch rocket launchers, multi-barrel, 75 to 80 kilometers they can hit. We have a range of options.
And these are very sharp, high precision.
Guided munitions.
Down to what? Like a meter?
They are within 1 meter circular error of probability, sir.
From a distance of 400 kilometers.
400 kilometers. They can range on to 1 meter of your circular error of probability. That is precision guided munitions, right? 1, 2, 3 you can take it with the Agni missiles and all that. But the simple fact is, Arnab, what if we use these? We could use these to target high-value terror targets in POK, in Pakistan, anywhere where the three service chiefs choose.
They say we have Gauri. We have Gauri.
We have Ghazni.
We have Shaheen. ये तो हमने क्या बोला घर में रखने के लिए नहीं किया.
So let us take a hypothetical scenario that India fires BrahMos and they retaliate with Ghazni or Ghaznavi.
What happens?
And Shaheen and the rest of this caboodle. What happens? The S-400s blast it out of the skies. I don't think even one of them will leak through or get through to the targets, right? That's what happens.
It's that effective?
It's that effective. Look at 70 to 80% are being shot down by Ukraine, man. 70 to 80% and more incoming missiles, etc., are being shot down by the triumphs in the Russia-Ukraine war. That is combat demonstrated performance.
But we can also fire from sea.
Of course we can.
We can fire from sea. That is one important aspect, Arnab. The Pakistani defense system, I would like to highlight.
Yeah.
Because if we compare our S-400, what is there with Pakistan in terms of comparison? Pakistan has got HQ-9P HIMARS. It has a maximum range of around 150 to 170 kilometers. So that is the outer limit for air defense system. They also have a layered system, but it's, next is at 40 kilometers, next is at 12 kilometers. So it is 12, 40 and around 150 kilometers. So that is their level of air defense. And if you compare with ours, as sir has put out, with the S-400, there is a definite edge here now. And this edge is very important because when our Rafales will go inside, and it's a stealth aircraft, and when our Mirages will go, our Sukhois will go, that much of vulnerability is there with the Pakistani defense too.
If we want to, we can just block the whole Karachi, the whole area, right? We can block them completely by the sea, and they therefore will not be able to get any fuel. They can't get any shipment. Their hunch is what they want. They are trying to say the world will come and save us. Their whole attitude last 3 days is कि हम बच गए because America will come and help us. नहीं पहले तो हमें बचाओ और अभी 2 दिन से कह रहे हैं हम बच गए. America will come and save us. They will save us from the might of India. So by this time, if we were to play these tough moves in the start, will the rest of the world come and tell India, stop, 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 stop? I mean, the sense, what will the diplomacy play out? I'm sure we've played all this out already.
Arnab.
I mean, I found it laughable, but they were down to calling Somalia yesterday. They called Somalia and they put out a release. इन्होंने कहा कि Somalia हमको support कर रहा है. They're down to that. So obviously
Arnab, the simple fact is that international law gives a nation the right of hot pursuit.
That's right, sir.
You kill our citizens and you think you can go away whistling in the woods after that? We have the right for hot pursuit, right? And that is precisely what we can do. We can exert pressure from the naval flank. As you very rightly pointed out, the Indian Navy has BrahMoses on almost every missile destroyer and frigate. The Indian Navy submarines have club cruise missiles.
Anti-ship missile.
We have the Nishant, the cruise missile with 1,200 kilometers range, subsonic.
We can take out Karachi.
In 71 war, let me just,
I mean, the real thing is also, can Karachi be...
on the present capability, let me just tell you, as far back as 1971, the Indian Navy had hit Karachi twice. 4th December 71 and 8th December 71, twice in that war of 13 days, they had hit the Karachi harbour. They sank 6 Pakistani ships in Karachi harbour. They put the oil farm of Karachi on fire.
This is with the capability of 1971.
When we had the OSA missile boats with their Stakes missiles, which had to be towed off the coast of Karachi to be able to engage.
The Pakistanis couldn't do anything.
The first time we used missiles in South Asia, right? This time, we have 10 times that capability. 10 times that capability. If the Indian carrier battle groups, and we have 2, they both get to the Arabian Sea, we can kaput. You are kaput, man. That's all that I
They don't seem to have a navy that's even about 20%.
No.
To counterbalance us. I mean, maybe 1/5 the size or effectiveness of our navy. They can claim anything on paper.
Even in 71, what had they done? They had sent their Ghazi submarine, which got knocked out off the coast of Visakhapatnam. Then they sent another submarine, and of course, that took down the Kukri. Yes. So what will they do? They'll surge their submarines forward to try and tackle our aircraft carrier battle groups, and they have just 2. They could end up losing both of them.
Now, as this game moves on, the neighbors and inside Pakistan also people who are seeking independence will become active.
Of course.
The Baluchis are very, very upset with the kind of incidents that have happened, and particularly, I mean, we have our reporters on the Durand line right now. We had sent our reporters on the Durand line, and they said that the Talibanis are getting ready to attack them very hard this time because they're very angry with the recent killing of women and children by the Pakistan army. So the Taliban is also getting ready. I mean, in a wargaming situation, the Taliban is not going to sit, watch and do nothing.
You see, Arnab, in our schools, we used to say, never spare a bender.
Never spare
a bender, a guy who bends, so kick him. The simple fact is that the Pathans are hopping mad. Why are they hopping mad? The Taliban in Afghanistan, because Pakistan sent its F-16 to attack 2 villages, killed 52 women and children.
Yep.
The Afghans have a tradition of badal. Now, look at it this way.
Why did they do that?
So I'll tell you. Now, Pakistan is moving out all its forces from the Durand line, from Balochistan, from Sindh to the eastern border with India. That uncovers these areas. Does it give them an opportunity? And you think they are so dim-witted that they won't sense this opportunity and make the most of it? They will.
And they are competent. I mean, the Taliban can handle the weapons that they have. It was earlier believed that the kind of high-tech weaponry left behind by the Americans is beyond the usability of the Taliban. What kind of weaponry are they sitting on? Now, how much of a military threat? Let me get a...
They have got Javelin missiles now. It just came in the media a few days back.
Okay.
Now this Javelin missile is a...
Who gave it to them, sir?
From Taliban they've got it. Okay. Because Americans had left these missiles there.
So they're using the American equipment?
Yes. According to my information...
What was said, $80 billion worth of equipment was left behind. They're using it.
150 Javelin missile platforms were left by the Americans. And a few of them have been supplied to Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan. And this has got a standoff distance of 3 to 4 kilometers. So it implies that earlier the Talibanis used to carry out ambushes, you shoot and scoot. But right now, they can shoot at the Pakistani vehicles, the tanks, from a standoff distance of 3 to 4
the aircraft
kilometers.
also which are based in that range.
Yes.
So the Taliban is not going to be quiet. So what is the Taliban going to do? I mean, they already seem to be doing something. Some pictures we got are amazing. The Taliban are very, very pumped up right now.
They are sensing an opportunity to avenge their humiliation.
So they'll move the Durand line. They want to move.
Yes.
Which regime in Afghanistan, self-respecting regime, has ever accepted the Durand line?
None.
Pakistan is trying to fence it. And you think they are going to take it lying down? Do you think they won't sense an opportunity? They quite obviously will. You think the BLA, the BLO, they won't sense an opportunity? They understandably will. You think the Sindhu Desh forces won't sense an opportunity?
So these Pakistani analysts are getting it wrong because they're going to be fighting a 3-front war. They're going to be fighting the war on their eastern border, on their western border, and also within. Because they'll have to defend the Baluch. I think the Baluch are already announcing an independent state. You saw what Fazlur Rahman said recently. I want to play that out.
और हम यहाँ पर अपने मामलात को सुलझाने के बजाय उलझाते चले जा रहे हैं। कश्मीर का मसला है, लेकिन कश्मीर के मसले से पहले हमें अफगानिस्तान के हवाले से सोचना होगा कि पाकिस्तान बहैसियत रियासत के उसने अफगानिस्तान के साथ अपने सफारती ताल्लुकात बेहतर क्यों नहीं बनाए?
So what Fazlur Rahman said is significant. He said that
out of the 7 districts, 5 have more or less on the verge of declaring independence.
That is what he said.
The writ of the Pakistani government doesn't run there.
Including Sindh.
So by now,
there is a problem in Sindh also.
So by now, we've established a scenario where Asim Munir is stressed out. The air chief is telling him, I'm not ready. The Navy chief is telling him, I'm not ready. He still pushes ahead. And he's going to have his remaining Augusta submarines sunk. He's going to have heavy casualties to the junk jets, JF-17s. His F-16s will be under attack. The Taliban will move in pretty hard, right? Karachi can be blocked off, right? And then he's going to say, I'm facing an existential threat, because yesterday they said one of the reasons for an existential threat could be a blockade of Karachi. So now they are saying, oh, we never signed first use of nuclear weapons. We never signed no first use of nuclear weapons.
Good.
So I feel, and this is the question I have to ask you, in a wargaming scenario, you see them pull out that card fast.
Arnab, we go by precedents in military history, right?
Right, sir.
We fought the Kargil war for 3 months.
No, I'm asking you the question again. I want you full focus on this, full focus viewers on this. We pummel the Pakistanis really hard. We pummel them. They lose a number of jets. They are on the sea flank completely covered and they're fighting a three-front war. The Pakistani existential crisis can happen sooner than we think. So they will create this atmosphere.
Right.
We are under threat. Right. And will they therefore, and they're not getting open help from the world, then what happens? Do they pull out the nuclear card? Will they do it? They haven't done so in the past. But this time they know we are damn serious.
You know, Arnab, as a military historian,
Yes, sir.
I'll just ask you one question.
Sir.
The Russia-Ukraine war has been going on for 3 years plus and counting.
Yeah.
It's on.
Yeah.
It's not come to an end. It is intensifying.
Yeah.
Right? Russia has the biggest nuclear arsenal in the world, 1,680 warheads. The biggest megaton warheads,
Yeah.
How many missiles have fallen? How many of these nukes have fallen on Kyiv? Or anywhere in Ukraine for that matter? Zilch. Threats galore. Threats galore. You see, Arnab, the simple fact that I'm talking facts.
Yeah, I'm talking facts too.
National
Only facts tonight.
state actors
Yep.
do not use nuclear weapons when they are assured that they'll get it back.
But they
in
are
kind.
not rational people. Is Bilawal rational? Is Khwaja Asif rational? Is Asim Munir
They
rational?
pretend to be irrational.
They pretend to be rational.
They pretend to be irrational because that is one of the tactics in the nuclear this thing. You remember Nikita Khrushchev using his shoe to bang the table in the United Nations? You pretend to be irrational. The simple fact
Gaddafi?
Gaddafi is dead.
No, but pretended to be irrational.
Pretended to be irrational, and for that he paid with his life. The simple fact is, Arnab, Pakistani generals are rational state actors because they live in palatial bungalows. Their wives are bedecked with jewels. They go around in Mercedes car. No state actor like this wants to commit suicide. And if they use even one nuke, our doctrine is clear. We will come upon you like a ton of bricks with all our 180, warheads, and which are not 1.5 pav, 2 pav, which are 10 megaton, 50 megaton and above. Right? Pakistan will cease to exist.
I understand. So you are saying that they will not pull out this nuclear card?
Look, they will go down. There are a number of war games to suggest that they will go down, but they will not dare to use it because they will get it back. It's not like 1945 Japan. Japan did not have nukes. And that is why that is the only recorded use of nukes in global history, because there was no deterrence.
So if I take this argument ahead, what you're saying, what are the red lines then for Pakistan?
You see, you can have red lines. A number
Because
of
there
red
has
lines.
to be a red line for Pakistan.
No. A number of red lines were stated by the Russians. Each one of them was crossed. Don't give them Abrams tanks. Don't give them Patriots. Don't give them the missiles, longer range missiles. Don't give them F-16s. We have seen each one of the red lines being breached, but the rationality has held. Putin, a rational state actor, has not used nuclear weapons, even when his red lines were crossed.
Okay, so I'll just paint a scenario to you, sir. The Indian army is about to capture Lahore, sir, because I think it's a achievable target as far as Indian army is concerned. Will that be a red line for Pakistan?
You see, once again, we are choosing our targets. We chose our targets very carefully in Kargil, right? So we are not threatening key vulnerabilities.
That's it.
We are not threatening key vulnerabilities. Lahore, Sialkot, Islamabad, Rawalpindi would be very key vulnerabilities.
Karachi is not?
Existence. Karachi, we are not doing an amphibious landing. We are just restricting the flow of arms.
So,
we may just restrict the flow of arms, and we may restrict the flow of
what will be
FOL.
now? Suppose they are cornered, and your war game says they're not going to really go serious on the nuclear card. I also agree with you because they know the disproportionate response that they will be also met with. They need to realize that. What will be the role of China and Turkey? You know, I really want this war game cannot be complete without understanding.
Of course not.
My sense is China wants to do business, a country that wants to do business. It wants to do business with India. And it hasn't really even helped the Russians beyond a point in Ukraine. If they haven't helped the Russians in Ukraine, would they overtly or covertly deeply help the Pakistanis?
Arnab,
What message do you think they've given in that meeting yesterday?
You know, Arnab, my take is very clear. They will give them weapons. They are giving them weapons.
Absolutely.
They will not intervene militarily. Let me explain why.
But
They
is
have,
giving weapons a big deal?
Yeah, it's
to an extent,
Yeah.
to an extent. Let the Chinese also remember. You know, Chinese are very rational people. They you know, they are a lot of common sense, and they exhibit a great deal of patience. The Chinese strategic doctrine says one front at a time. They do not open two fronts and fight on two different fronts. They are facing a major Eastern theater front in Taiwan, South China Sea, with Japan, with Vietnam, with Philippines, and the United States of America has waged a trade war against them, and they could easily follow up with a military, offensive, because Donald Trump has said, my primary target, my primary threat is PRC, People's Republic of China. Why did the Chinese offer you a thaw in Ladakh? Because they don't want to fight on two fronts, right? And if they stab us in the back, when we are having a conflict with Pakistan, rest assured, Arnab, that when China goes for Taiwan, we will stab them in the back.
So
they know it.
They will not go beyond a point.
They will not go beyond.
In helping Pakistan.
They'll not go
No,
beyond.
I have a different take, Arnab, on this. The Ukraine war, you just take the example of the Ukraine war. The Americans have been supporting Ukraine, and that's the reason Ukraine could fight for 3 years and plus, and the war is still going on. But what stops China from arming Pakistan with ammunition, missiles, everything, if the war gets prolonged? You see, that's a scenario which the Indian army would like to prefer. We would not like to go for a short war with Pakistan. We would like to prolong the war.
That's one point. That's the key. That's the key. What? Bakshi. Why do you say that's the key? You know,
that's the
what's
key.
better for us, a long war or a
we
short
don't want
war?
a long war. We are aiming for a limited war. Period.
But even if it's a long war, it helps us. It helps us if it's a long war, they get drained.
Of course it helps.
But
then
either which way we are fine.
Because either which way we are fine. We are fine. You want a long war, we'll give it to you.
Yeah.
You want a short war, we'll give it to you. But for the sake of not pushing him over the edge
But
of the
here the
cliff.
Americans will come into place.
Wait. Not pushing him over the edge of the cliff, right? We would prefer a limited war. We have said so.
And if they want to engage with a long war, it works for us because then they get...
The longer they fight, the more they lose.
I'm told that if they fight 15 days, they are finished. You've just said if they fight 7 days, they're out of armory. What will be Turkey's role and the OIC's role? Will the Muslim world, first question,
Muslim Ummah.
will the Muslim world come to help Pakistan?
The Muslim world has condemned the dastardly Pahalgam attack. Things are changing, Arnab.
Yeah,
in Saudi Arabia, they are liberalizing. Their women can drive, they can go to schools, colleges. They are liberalizing their Islam, right? Abu Dhabi, I just went there, we saw a temple. They had allowed construction of a Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi. So they are focusing on economic well-being of their people.
So
it's only South Asian Islam led by Mullah Munir, which is focusing on jihad, fasad, katlogarat.
So OIC beyond a condemnation or whatever will not go out and help Pakistan.
Saudi Arabia.
What about Turkey?
Turkey.
Turkey is the country to watch out, and you had the Turkish Air Force delegation also with the Pakistan Air Force. Then when this incident happened, Shahbaz Sharif was in Turkey. So, They would
Turkey
like to have some
has
strategic
ambitions
depth.
of replacing Saudi Arabia as the Khalif, as the Khalifa, as it used to be World War I and prior, right? But the simple fact is, Turkey wants to join BRICS. Who can stop their entry into BRICS?
India.
India, right? So it's not as simple as that, Arnab. It's, there were newspaper reports that, because Pakistan sold its 155 millimeter ammunition, artillery ammunition to Ukraine, they are asking Turkey to step in. And there was a news in the media, Arnab, you will recall, that one Turkey, military aircraft, transport aircraft, I think it was a C-130, had flown into Karachi.
Yeah.
Then it was clarified by Turkey, no, it was going to Malaysia.
Yeah.
It did not stop there, it just stopped for refueling
So
halt.
one question for you. I'll take you back to the Azerbaijan and Armenia war, sir.
Right.
Azerbaijan could win the war because of the support from Turkey, sir.
Absolutely.
And especially the drones, how they actually cause havoc on the T-72 tanks of Armenia.
Right.
Let's play this scenario here with Pakistan.
Yeah.
War gets prolonged. Do you expect the same kind of help coming to Pakistan from Turkey, sir?
Turkey, Azerbaijan is next door to Turkey. It's almost on the borders of Turkey. This is a fair distance off, right? Number one. Turkey, Azerbaijan and Armenia, there is no nuclear power there. India is a nuclear power. India is the second largest army in the world, fourth largest navy, fifth largest air force, nuclear power, space power. You want to mess around with us? You want to mess around with us? We'll give it back to you, not now necessarily. You have a fracas going on with Greece. I've been to Greece, Arnab, and they're very keen that they want our help against the Turks. So you will get paid back in your... We are also waiting and watching who's reacting in what way, and we'll pay you back in the same coin. If China wants to stab us in the back now, we'll wait for you when Taiwan is on. When you are invading Taiwan, you'll get it right back, and people know it. You're not talking of Armenia. By the way, we have armed Armenia in return.
Yeah, with Pinakas, yes.
So we have great equation with Armenia.
Great
because Armenia came crying to us.
Absolutely.
Armenia came crying to us. So that is also payback to Turkey.
So when we look at the overall scenario here, there are four things that come to my mind here. One, Asim Munir started this, he played out the game. Then he was told by the air chief and the navy chief, we're not ready. They assess the situation very well, especially with the S-400s, and they know we have a offensive defense capability. They don't have enough ammunition beyond 7 days. They don't have enough aviation turbine fuel over 5 days. That's the situation in which the war starts. So they already start with a huge disadvantage. So they don't want a war. Now this explains it. They don't want a war. They know they are at a huge disadvantage.
Absolutely.
Why do you think these peacenik noises are coming out of Pakistan, Arnab? Precisely for this reason. We don't want a war. We don't want to fight. Look at the change in tone of Bilawal Bhutto.
सखर में इसी सिंधु दरिया के साथ खड़े होके भारत को कहना चाहूंगा कि सिंधु हमारा है और सिंधु हमारा रहेगा। या इस दरिया से हमारा पानी बहेगा या उनका खून बहेगा।
As far as what the defense minister said, I don't think that it's a secret that Pakistan has a past as far as extremist groups are concerned. And as a result of this, we have suffered. Pakistan has suffered. We've gone through wave after wave of extremism. We went through the Islamization, militarization of our society.
I mean, this man's mother was killed by the Pakistan army.
Yeah.
She was shot by the Pakistan army. His grandfather was tortured and hung by the Pakistan army. This man is licking the boots of the same Pakistan army, and he has the gumption to tell us that if water doesn't flow down the Indus, blood will flow. Yes, blood will flow. Your blood.
So they are at a disadvantage. If they start the war, we can hammer them with our BrahMos, we can intercept them with the S-400s, we can go aggressive with them with the Rafales. and we can cut off the entire Karachi port area if we want overnight. And we don't even need to move to the next game, because by now the Taliban, the Baluch are anyway getting very restless, very active. So we don't even have to move our integrated battle corps. We don't even have to do anything. The game is over. And the world is not going to come and help them. And your assessment is Turkey and China are not going in beyond
No physical involvement.
No physical involvement, no boots on the ground, some drones, some missiles, that's
ammunition.
it. Some ammunition. But they're overplaying the support.
Of course they are. You clutch every straw. A drowning man clutches at every straw. But the fact is, Arnab, the reality check is sinking into them. Not just the army and air chief are upset. The corps commanders are upset like hell. Why didn't you take us into confidence? He is one of the most unpopular chiefs in the Pakistan army. The Pakistan army is split down the middle the day he arrested Imran Khan. The day he arrested Imran Khan.
And now the other thing is that they do not have political unity. They are calling a meeting on May 5th of their National Assembly. The fact of the matter is that politically also the blame game has begun. So they don't have popular support like in India.
Arnab, just listen into Pakistan television channels. I have never seen such condemnation outright on the Pakistani TV channel. I mean, it's something to hear. It's something to hear. This man has bitten off more than he can chew. He doesn't know how to get out of it. He sent his family out. Have you ever heard of an army chief, an Indian army chief, sending his family to London or Washington or wherever before a war is about to start?
One important aspect here is, when you want to fight a war, you must have the money to fight the war. Does the Pakistan economy have the money to fight this war?
They don't have. Now the last point, they've already run out of money and they're not going to get their next IMF loan. If they don't get an IMF loan, they defaulted. So they don't have the money to service the submarines that leave alone. They don't have money to get the fuel for their jets.
Yes.
Arnab, like I said,
so this is over.
I quoted the famous quote from Bill Clinton. It's the economy, stupid. Asim Munir. This is for Asim Munir. It's the economy, stupid. Pakistan is on the verge of collapse. Right? Economic collapse. You know the kind of foreign exchange reserves they have. How much is their debt repayment burden? And if a war takes place, a lot of capital equipment gets destroyed. The Pakistan army and the air force would want it by tomorrow replaced. Where is the foreign exchange? And if they insist, because they don't worry about whether the people of Pakistan are getting 2 square meals a day. They couldn't give a damn. They want their toys. They want Swedish AWACS, Arnab. They want Swedish AWAC, no less.
How can they even think of it? I mean, they do not have the money. I was looking at what we spent for the Rafale is equal to 1 year's budget for them. Yeah. But now they also have an internal issue because you got Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, you got Waziristan, you got Gilgit-Baltistan, you got Balochistan, which are going to break up. So in a scenario now, let me take it beyond military to geopolitical. How likely is the possibility that Pakistan will break up this time?
Look, Arnab, how do you break up a nuclear armed power? History has precedents.
Yeah.
It's not without precedent. The Soviet Union was a superpower.
Yeah.
It had the largest nuclear arsenal in the world.
Yeah.
What happened to the Soviet Union? It suffered an economic collapse in 1990 and splintered into 15 states. Without a shot being fired.
Yeah.
If the Pakistani economy goes down the tube of history, given the fault lines that we see are visible for the world to see in Pakistan, Pakistan won't splinter into 15. It will splinter into 5. Balochistan, Sindhu, Pashtunkhwa, West Punjab, Syrikya.
Okay.
5. These are the splintering, clearly visible fault lines, visible to the whole damn world. Yeah. This is what could happen if the Pakistani economy crumbles. You want to give it that push?
Well, I think we've addressed a lot of questions here. This has been a very comprehensive comparison of military strength, a realistic assessment of what could happen. Viewers, this is part of our Republic Defense series. And we hope to get you a very accurate, very factual, very objective view of the way things are placed. I believe you need to know our strengths. You need to know that we need to come together now. You need to have the knowledge, and therefore with Republic Defence we will be serving that in national interest for you. General Bakshi, thank you very much. General Kochhar, it's a pleasure to have you. This is it for now. I'll see you back.